7% growth today would be a lot better than 7% growth next year or the year after. And so finding ways to actually get more quickly to that, the double-digit growth that everybody dreams of in Nepal is really the priority.
The ocean smooth and clean, best I've ever seen. Soft and silky sheen, like a perfect dream. True skin makes me shine, feeling so divine. Beauty I can find in the skin of mine.
So education, I'm going to go ahead and say that definitely we're working on education, not just in my thing, David, this is my thing. I want to be, I've seen the American system, how it's done, where school system it's equal for everybody.
You think so?
You have private schools too?
We have a tremendous challenge. I mean, look, I'm not here.
You have challenges too.
I don't want to comment on the United States. I'm surely not an elected official or paid to comment on the United States, but I'll speak this as an American, at least half American. I've got another passport too, but it's an American. The American education system is based on property taxes. And so people that live in rich districts get often get a higher quality of education than people who are living in underserved, poor districts. We have a highly federal system. Again, it's neither good nor bad, but I mean, there is no perfect system for this. But being able, I think what we try to do at the World Bank is try to bring data-driven, information-driven policy, policies to the forefront. So does the American system work? It works pretty well. It works very well for certain people. It works less well if you're in an inner city school or if you're in a rural school that has a very low tax base. And there's a lot of discussion on this in my country. I'm surely not going to comment on it or opine politically, but I think making kind of informed, data-driven, information-driven decisions about how you want to provide public services is a massive challenge. In Nepal, the federal system is not fully functioning yet. It's making some major progress in a decade, right? But it's not fully functioning yet. And so figuring out, doing more to both define roles and responsibilities, to devolve and deconcentrate more responsibility to local levels, to make sure that they have the resources to deliver in the education space, in the health space, in roads, in water and sanitation, in solid waste management, et cetera, is part of the challenge of the next decade, right?
For me, the building block is education. I'll jump into that. Building block for a human being is education. You have education, you have healthcare, you're taken care of. At least half your problems are solved.
Not to repeat, but but we need to find a way to keep those educated kids in the country. We need to find a way that they actually want to stay in Nepal and make a life here rather than feeling that they need to go off to Australia or the Gulf, I think.
Yesterday, I was watching a clip. A clip. This is completely something slightly different. A friend of mine is a very famous vlogger in Nepal. He's in Australia for a show, and then he was speaking to friends in, young Nepalese who came to his show, and he was sharing, I understand the frustration that you have, but I want to thank you for supporting, because it's because of your remittance that the country is running. Exactly. When he said that, as he was saying that, as soon as he finished what he said, I could hear the cheers.
It's true. And this is why I really wanted to be very nuanced with what I said before. I know. The remittance economy has been a lifesaver. It has been the driver of poverty reduction. It's been the driver of growth. This is a country that grows on average at 4.5% over the last 15 years.
We're going to try to go ahead and keep it that or increase it, hopefully.
I think that's the challenge, right? So look at Vietnam and look at Nepal. These are countries that had, when I started working in this business, in this amazing life that I've had to live at the World Bank 30 years ago, Vietnam and Nepal had basically around similar GDP per capita. But Nepal has grown on average 4.5%, and Vietnam is growing, at 7%. And that doesn't make a huge difference in 1 year, but over time it makes a tremendous difference in where you go. And so this impatience that we talked about, 7% growth today would be a lot better than 7% growth next year or the year after. And so finding ways to actually get more quickly to that, the double-digit growth that everybody dreams of in Nepal is really the priority. And that's a bit why I mentioned before the digital economy. So, Rani, you mentioned the Rani Jamara irrigation scheme, which we're really proud of and is amazing. We've just doubled down on it by putting more money into this. And I think that making more investments in irrigation, I think particularly in the east of the country, is things that we're really looking into over the next years. But that stuff's going to take years. It takes time to build that infrastructure to unlock the agricultural potential. But, the next incessant rain or the next fuse machines can come up very, very quickly. And so I think that really being thoughtful about promoting fast developing private sector growth models is something that's really important in the country.
I was reading up on the report as well. So what's the next coming decade like? What kind of growth do you think we're going to see?
Oh gosh, I mean, look, you never ask an economist to look again. And I mentioned this publicly recently. I've spent a big chunk of my career working in Latin America. Very different context, right? But today, Colombia, Mexico would do anything for 4.5% growth. Okay, this would be there would be champagne flowing everywhere in many of the Latin American countries if you could get to the kind of growth rates that Nepal is lamenting and saying, oh, we're not at 7, we're not at 8, we're not at that 10. So let's again take a bit of a glass half full view on it. Now, it's a different sort of moment in the development trajectory of Nepal versus Colombia. But 4.5% growth is impressive. Or 5% growth is impressive. It's the question of how do you really leapfrog if you want to get to that kind of escape velocity, right? If you think about, escape velocity to make it to the upper middle income status, the country needs to find a way to unlock more private investment, to make the public investment that it's doing right now work better. Nepal executed less than 60% of its allocated capital budget last year, and I think this year's on track to be something similar, I think. Making sure that, you're spending the public dollars, public rupees. The public money is getting spent, getting invested in productive stuff, that infrastructure, those roads, those water and sanitation systems, et cetera. That's the great challenge, I think.
From our conversation, what I've understood slightly is we're leaning more towards things that are going to be catalyst, which is like the digital economy, which is going to be catalyst, which is going to again add that fuel to the fire of our growth right away, and World Bank's leaning slightly more towards that as well. Yeah,
it's true. But there's no magic bullet. There's no single solution, right? So digital, yes. Tourism, yes. Agribusiness, absolutely. Okay. Manufacturing at the margins, yes. Hydropower, if we can get some more of this hydropower built and some more of those electrons exported across the border, particularly both for domestic use, but especially across the border. Look, hydropower is not going to create massive number of jobs. It's going to create some jobs in the construction phase. But what it will bring is a lot more resources into the country that can be used for making those productive infrastructure investments that maybe get you closer to a virtuous cycle of export of electrons and investment in infrastructure.
And again, if you're very lucky, then the gas and petrol. If you go ahead and find that, why not?
There seems to be some stuff going on in that space. I'm not fully informed, but I'm reading the same newspaper articles that you are. So looking forward to learning more about that.
Both of us are on that. Have you, by the way, this is a different question. Have you traveled all across the 7 provinces, or you plan to? You
are touching on my Achilles heel. So one of the greatest challenges of my first year here has been the demands of traveling to Sri Lanka, Maldives, and I'm back to headquarters a few times too much. So I've had a chance to travel in the country. Was recently in Lumbini, where we're looking at making a really exciting program of investment in Lumbini, but and have been obviously to a few other places, but seeing more of the country. I'm looking at the map on your wall. Your viewers can't see it, but there's a beautiful wooden map of Nepal on the wall. I'm thinking about all the places that I want to go. So that will really be the challenge for the next year, is to to get out from the far west to the far east.
We're going to do motorcycle trips.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, we're definitely going to do that. We touched base on a lot of things. Again, there are a few things that I let go of today because we're definitely going to talk about it on our next sitting as well, because I've realized this is not the first time we're going to be sitting, David, and the friendship's going to last for a lifetime.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the
Amazing to
love.
be here.
Thank you so much for the love. And anything you want to say to I have a lot of young viewers watching from all around the world.
Let's get together. Would love to hear. Would really love. I mean, at the World Bank again, we're a development partner of Nepal, not the government, but of the country, and engaging with civil society, with the youth, with women, with people from different communities and different backgrounds is something that we think is not just something that we're interested in, but that is really helpful, critical to understand the development challenges of the country. So the more we talk, the better. I really look forward to coming back again, talking to you, meeting some of your viewers sometime, and really thank you again.
Done. Thank you so much. And again, from the bottom of my heart, do more. And again, we're going to do fun things together and uplift everybody. That's the whole idea.
Keep the rubber down, as they say. Keep those tires on the ground.
Thank you so much.
तपाईले हाम्रो क्लिप एकदमै एन्जोय गर्नुभयो होला। अब पुरै भिडियो हेर्नको लागि चाहिँ युट्युबमा सब्स्क्राइब गर्न नबिर्सिनु होला। व्यास मिडिया नेटवर्क।